want to start with the City of Houston is having a charrette on Monday. Charrette is an opportunity to come together and brainstorm about a particular issue. As we have been for the last 6 months, we are tackling a whole range of issues having to do with homelessness. And this is a charrette on homelessness. We are bringing in, thanks to help from HUD, bringing in national experts. We're using the technical assistance that HUD gave us, and it is going to be held August 20th, 21st, and 23rd, and then there's a recap a week later, but it's at the Harris County Department of Education, 6300 Irvington. It is open to the public. It is free of charge. It starts 9 o'clock in the morning on the 20th, and it has function topics such as integrating housing and services, right-sizing the continuum of care, prevention, diversion, coordinated access, and so forth. There are lots of folks who have focused on our charitable feeding ordinance, which is designed to address a specific problem, and they conveniently ignore the fact that we have been aggressively tackling the issues of homelessness, that we were in the news a couple of weeks ago, and that the number of homeless on our street has dropped appreciably with this concerted effort. We are nearing the end of our 100 homeless vets being housed in 100 days with some success over there. We broke ground earlier this year on an expansion of our single-room occupancy for homeless vets under the U.S. Vets program. We want to do real change that gets people off the streets, and respectfully to all those who have the impulse to want to do something for the homeless, it is better if we come together and do it in a coordinated manner and in a way that doesn't just enable, it actually helps, moves people from homelessness to housing. So again, we're excited about the charrette. It is open to the public, and we would love to have a room full of folks, a whole building full of folks who are interested in working with us to tackle the issues of homelessness. Also very proud today that City Council affirmed strongly the bond proposal I put forward to them a month ago. We will be going to the voters this November asking for support for $410 million worth of future bonds. A reminder to everybody, a bond election is like a pre-qualification for a mortgage. You still have to get someone to loan you the money later, and you still have to decide to spend the money later. A bond election does not require the city to take on debt. A bond election does not have any impact on the city's budget. A bond election is going to the voters prior to assuming debt, saying, we believe we need this money. This is how we're going to spend the money. Will you give us permission? It will join 2 other bond elections, one by the Houston Independent School District and another by the Houston Community College system. I'm proud of the work that went into it, and despite what some council members seem to express today, we have been publishing for some time the specifics of projects that were going to be in the bond election. Fire Station 55 in District D, new fire station in Pine Brook in District E, expansion of Fire Station 22, City Council District I, libraries, renovation of the Montrose Library in District D, replacement of Moody Library, District H, goes on and on. As we reminded council members today, the bond election will pay for projects that are in the existing CIP, identified capital projects by category, where anyone who wants to can go online to the city and see what is in our CIP. In addition, we did a complete facilities assessment of all facilities across the city of Houston, and we identified those that had a life safety impact that we had a critical imperative to repair. That's about $12 million divided among the different bond categories. Those will be fixed next. That information is also available. And then there is a request for some unspecified money. The largest piece of that is in parks, and it is a $100 million match for a $100 million private sector capital campaign. We don't have to borrow the money if they don't come up if the private sector doesn't come up with the money. If they only raise $50 million, we would only have to take out $50 million in bonds to meet it. It would mean that the Parks by You, the interconnectivity program, isn't fully funded, but there's a reason that I set it up and proposed to them a match, and that is, it's not just about the city taxpayers putting money down. It is about people who care deeply about parks coming together and support what they care about. And I think this is a win-win at the end of this, assuming that the capital campaign goes well and the city chooses at that point to borrow the money to complete these projects, that we're going to have the most extensive, best integrated park trail system in the United States. I will pause there and see if anybody else has any questions.